Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back to talk about the Beast Games Survivor. I'm not going to yell. I'm not yelling. The Beast Games Survivor crossover event that you've been waiting for. That's right. It's episode 4 of Beast Games Season 2, and I'm very excited to talk about it here with the great Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm great, Rob. I'm very excited. We're going to be talking about the Beast Game Survivor crossover from the perspective of a Survivor player and some dude who wrote a book about Big Brother. Two perfect people to talk about it.
Two perfect people, but also somebody who's well versed in the world of American Ninja Warrior.
True. Yeah. Although
Yeah.
I have not seen Ian before.
and an expert on reality TV, because this was an episode of Beast Games where they talked a lot about what is Beast Games and what is Survivor and what happens when the two meet.
Yeah. Listen, Jeff loves to philosophize about everything,
Yeah.
and he did so about Beast Games.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking all about episode 4 of the Beast Games crossover event. I think that some people might be listening to this that maybe didn't watch it. They want to hear what it was like on Beast Games. Of course, you can watch it all on Amazon Prime. We also, spoiler alert, I had the chance earlier today. I spoke with the winner of the Beast Games Island, or the private island, Ian.
Beast Island winner.
Beast
And
Island
redeemer
winner.
of Ian's in final threes of endurance challenges.
Yes. And there were some similarities also to that challenge back in Palau that we can talk on. But that interview is also, we're going to post that on the YouTube channel. But if you're listening to the podcast version of this, we're just going to put it on after Taran and I get done talking about this episode. You will then hear my interview with Ian, where he talks about how he went on to win. He's actually a big Survivor fan. And then what he ended up deciding to do with the private island.
Yeah. Well, I'm very curious.
Yeah, you'll never guess, Taran.
Well, he's gonna live on it, right?
He's
By
gonna live
himself?
there forever. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's where he's gonna live. No, he'll talk all about that in the interview. But yeah, Taran. But do you want to jump into talking about the Survivor Beast Games, or do you want to do talk about the $1 million gambit, or who cares?
The cliffhanger made this stupid. I didn't care by the time they came back. I didn't even remember who that guy was or who his group was.
Yeah. You know, it's so weird that it's so much money. And, you know, we watch Survivor and we watch for 13 episodes and we watch for 26 days to get down to who's going to get $1 million. And in this show, that there's like, it's a moment of somebody takes $1 million, but it's really like for $1 million, like we really don't stop down for too long on this.
No, I think that like I honestly think this was a bigger moment because nobody pressed it last time, and so they wanted to do it again because it was such a big moment. But I really just don't feel like it actually worked that well. At least again because of the cliffhanger, I think that did not help. That there was a whole week of space in between. But then also like you have all these people like, how dare you? The devil works in mysterious ways and he works through you, mister. And it's like the guy lied essentially once. And as you mentioned, like people lie constantly on Survivor. Like they do way worse things.
Yeah. Do you know how mad my wife would be if I was in this challenge and didn't take $1 million?
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's it. I'd be over for me. I'd be divorced.
I mean, the guy was like, I don't have much to say. I mean, obviously he's still playing the game, so he needs to be as careful as possible. But like, you know the name of the show, right? It's called Beast Games. It's game.
Game.
And it's also MrBeast. Like, what are we doing here? We're not like paragons of honor and virtue playing Beast games.
Yeah. It's not Jimmy's games. It's MrBeast's games. But Taran, this guy, JT, did JT then go to the Survivor Island?
He did not, no.
Okay. All right. So we'll see if there's any repercussions for JT, who looked bad in front of God and MrBeast.
I think he looked good in front of MrBeast. I feel like MrBeast really wanted somebody to take that offer.
Yeah. Okay. So if you did it to impress Jimmy, then I guess so. So, all right. Now let's get into the Survivor of it all. Okay. That, hey, guess what? Somebody's going to win a private island. MrBeast tends to give away a lot of private islands. I feel like that on the MrBeast YouTube channel. It was also last year, I believe, also in Beast Games Season 1, somebody won an island, right?
You think it's the same island every time?
I don't think so because I guess if they give it back to MrBeast, but I don't think it was worth $1.8 million last time. But
But
what is it about MrBeast where MrBeast is always giving away islands? Did you ever want an island?
well, this is the thing. Yes, when I was a child,
Yes.
and that is his audience, right? Like the fantasy of like owning your own private island is such like a little kid thing, and then as you get older, you realize that I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. It's like very impractical to own an island.
Yeah, but like the idea of it is so romanticized. I mean, at least when I was a kid, it felt like, oh, you know, the idea of even owning your own house is a fantasy for many people just in general. But as a kid, having your own space, your
Yeah.
own private island where all your friends can play and you have all the fun stuff, like it feels like a fun fantasy in your head. And I
Yeah.
think that's why it's such a staple for
It's
Mr.
funny.
Beast.
I think a lot of the stuff that MrBeast gives away of like, I'm giving you a private jet. I'm giving you an island. I'm giving you a Lambo. It's like all things that are like would be extremely impractical to own, like would require so much investment to, keep going. But there are things that like little kids would want.
Yeah, he's selling a fantasy lifestyle. He's like saying I'm giving you the X amount of money is great and all, but for kids they like to see the physical actual thing. Like not just oh this person's going to become a millionaire, great. It's like oh this person's going to drive a Lambo and fly in their private jet to their private island because they're like rich,
Yeah.
like it's just more tangible.
On Big Brother, they blew up the Masterminds Island.
They did, yeah. Listen. That speaks to what Big Brother is all about. Hey, Mr.
Yeah.
Beast gave away a chocolate factory, a Charlie's chocolate factory once in a video. This is what we're talking about.
Yep. And so, all right. So we are going to play for the $1.8 million island. You have to go find 10 cannonballs to go to the island. And I did like how some of them were like hidden and some guy had to do like a math equation.
That was definitely the best one. I did think it was
This
fitting
one that was
that
like
they
in a
had to like
kettlebell.
yeah. I thought it was fitting that they had to like do a Survivor-esque challenge, like go find your hidden immunity cannonball.
Yeah.
But as per usual, I did not find it particularly interesting to watch people look for things. I don't know why that's such a staple in reality TV nowadays.
Especially on Survivor, I think that they like to have, and maybe it's a byproduct of the 90-minute episodes, that they will do a lot of like, go look for keys. I think that in Survivor, that seems like that they feel like, okay, well, they're moving, they're running around. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Rob, as you know, I've been watching a lot of traders lately, and they love to have people run around, find your bags of money, find your shields, and yes, on Survivor, find your, like, it's not just find the immunity idol, it's also like find the hidden advantage, find the key to the thing. And I find it's almost never interesting to me.
Yeah. I got to be honest. So, not that this is a trader's interview, but you know what? I was not super motivated to stick my hand in like the dirty, brackish water to take out the fake bags of money.
I was wondering where you were in that.
You know what? It's like, we found them all. Who cared? Who cared?
Yeah.
Like I'm pretending to look for stuff. Like I'm not sticking my hand in like a pile of like rotten apples for no reason.
It is funny coming from you, one of the few Survivor players on that cast.
Look, if it was an idol, sure.
Yeah.
But like, come on. Anyway, so Sus May is somehow the only Survivor player who's still here. She is going in the first person to go to the Survivor Island.
It's wild, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the odds were somewhat okay. There were like 4 or 5 Survivor players out of 200 cast members.
Do you think they cast so many Survivor players, and including the one Big Brother player they cast had a Survivor connection? Do you think that they wanted to stack the deck because they wanted to get a Survivor player to the Survivor Island?
Honestly, no. I don't think they cared. If anything, I think they were like, oh, now we have to say she was on Survivor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got our 10 people, and here we go. We're going to the $1.8 million island, and it's a little bit of a surprise for the audience. Oh, wait, who's that on the island? Who do we see?
Yeah, it's another Jeff. Which Jeff is richer at this point? Probably Jeff Probst still.
I think still Jeff Probst as
Yeah.
opposed to Beast Game Season 1 Jeff. But Beast Game Season 1 Jeff is really growing on me.
He's good.
He's really good.
He's got it, you know?
Yeah. I think he's like the modern day Tom Westman.
He kind of is. Except in this case, he was telling the guy to not jump.
Yep. So, all right, Jeff Probst is here, and this is actually like very interesting to see like Jeff Probst on this like crossover edition of the Beast Games. What did you think of Jeff here in Beast Games? Did it feel weird to you?
It actually felt better because like I've seen Jeff Probst outside of the context of Survivor, and that's weird to me every time because he's
Like
a
seeing one
different
of
guy.
your teachers at the mall.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a different guy. He's not I don't remember what he called, like Mr. Survivor or whatever. He's not
Survivor
like
guy.
the Survivor guy. And so like I could imagine Jeff Probst in a MrBeast video and he'd be a different guy. But this is MrBeast coming to Jeff on his home turf. He is the Survivor guy here. And so that was new to me. Like an all new kind of interaction with Jeff while he's doing Survivor. And I think the other thing too is that when you normally watch Jeff, he is like the god of, like he is the boss of all of these people. But when MrBeast shows up, he's just like, hey, pal, like we're kind of almost, he does his own power play, but like we're both the hosts. We're sharing this.
Yeah.
And let me show you around my domain. And that was a new dynamic too that I found interesting.
I have to say, I really didn't think I would, but I really thought that MrBeast was additive to a Survivor challenge in that, Jeff is still being and doing Jeff during the Survivor challenge, but MrBeast is that Jimmy is bringing something to the challenge that's a little bit different where, Jeff is like, Taran doing the puzzle. He's like he's struggling. But at the same time, like Jimmy is in there like so do you do puzzles often? Like he's like it just is not necessarily commentating on like what's happening. Like he's asking people questions like in the middle of like what they're doing, which I thought was like interesting. So they're both not trying to do the same thing, which I did like. And I also felt like that the MrBeast explanations like for the people who are like just like not really paying attention on YouTube, like at each station of the obstacle course, like in this section of the obstacle course that the players are gonna have to do a table maze and land these 3 balls, and you see like a 3D animation. I kind of thought that helped it.
I agree. I found myself enjoying this challenge more than I feel like I often find myself enjoying Survivor challenges. And it's a Survivor challenge.
Yeah.
I think it was filmed in very similar ways, but the editing, you're right, was like, it was different. It focused on different things. And yeah, they did have those like 3D graphics and everything. I thought it was pretty fun. Now the puzzle at the end was kind of lame, but that's par for the course.
But just the way that they broke it up, because in Survivor, like Jeff's like, all right, the team, you're going to have to climb up the ladder, and then you're going to take the monkey's paw, and then the monkey's fist, and then pull the thing down, and then stack the blocks, and then climb the key and have the pole. Like, wait, what? I don't even, who cares? Whatever. It's just going to come down to the puzzle anyway. But I did like that they broke it into like, okay, in this section, this is what the players are going to have to do. In this section, it was going to have to do. So I don't know, maybe this was like a good note from Beast Games.
It kind of was. It was a little, and I don't think this is, the case for every bit of this, but like it, especially as coming from somebody who has been a little tired of Survivor the last couple of seasons, which I don't think is a super unpopular opinion. It was really cool to see a slightly different, fresh take on the Survivor experience. And it did, whether or not it was better or worse, the fact that it was a little bit different, I think, was a huge part of why I enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, I think that that is definitely a thing where that so much of Survivor is just samey same in terms of
Mhm.
like, hey, it's the new era. We've perfected the recipe. This is what we do. And you've just seen it like just like, okay, like just swap out the players from one season to the next and it's all very similar. Yeah, I did feel like that this was kind of refreshing to see the way that they did this.
Yeah. And like I said, I stream myself watching Survivor every single episode. And, when a challenge comes on, I'm like, okay, let me force myself to watch this. Because if I was watching it normally, I'd just like pick up my phone and I'd be like, okay, I'll kind of like vaguely pay attention to a challenge. And that's not everyone's experience.
Hmm.
But I found myself when the challenge came on, I was signing up for Olympics tickets. And the thing
Oh,
came through, and I started to do my registration, and I was like, "Hold on, I need to pause the episode because I'm missing the challenge and I'm
wait,
enjoying the
which
challenge."
Olympics are you going to? 2028?
Yeah, LA. It's right up the road. Why
Well,
wouldn't I go?
it's right up the road geographically, but it just turned 2026. I didn't
I
know you had to
know. I
sign
was
up this
surprised it was
early.
today. It kind of hit me.
I'm like, are you going to Italy?
No, I want to go see. I want to go see the climbing.
Yeah. And you got in?
You can register for the draw, and then they're gonna draw, and if you get drawn, you have a chance to buy tickets.
Wow.
Is the
How does
current
it
thing.
work? Is it just like you're like in a like amphitheater just watching like what's the seating like to watch
Well, for
climbing?
climbing, it's probably standing. To be
Yeah.
honest, it's probably outside, and a lot of like standing room with a big wall.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, congratulations.
Well, not yet. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But listen, look, if Ian could win a $1.8 million private island, I have faith in you.
I hope so. Yeah.
All right, we have a draft or a schoolyard pick. And you know what? I have to say also, I was like, yeah, Beast Games, show me the schoolyard pick because Survivor always 90-minute episode. Well, okay, well, we picked teams and Yellow Sophie picked this Jawan, Sage, and Nate. And then, like, thank you for showing us the stupid draft.
I agree. The draft was really fun and interesting to watch. And then we also got like some strategizing that
Hmm.
we used to get on Survivor from the teams. Like, hey, look at this. The puzzle might be this, and like who's gonna take what role. I think that's also part of what engaged me more in the challenge was like, this person volunteered for this role. Oh, once they get to the puzzle, look, they correctly identified that it's going to be Survivor with the Beast Games logo. And also like, oh man, Sue really messed up here. You only really needed one person for the one smarts for the puzzle. The rest of this is relatively physical. And so, yeah, it added a lot, I thought.
Jeff talked about the comparisons between Survivor and Beast Games, and he said I think that Survivor and Beast Games are actually very similar, but Beast Games at its core asked the question, what are you willing to do for money in Beast Games? Did you agree with Jeff's characterization of what Beast Games is?
Not entirely. I do think that's probably the most core concept is like you're constantly prompted with various bribes,
Hmm.
and you are asked to either give up your own spot or sacrifice others in order to get money. And the whole thing is based around money and luxury. So betrayal is definitely like at the core, and betrayal for money is at the core of the show. But there is more to it than just that. And you could argue that Survivor is similar,
Yeah.
just that they try to focus on other aspects of that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. It's all about what are you willing to do for money. It's not like, okay, there's 100 people and we're going to put like a Madagascar hissing cockroach in front of you and you're going to have to
Mm,
eat it if you're going to want to move on. Like, they don't necessarily do anything that's like, oh, I don't think I would do that. A lot of times it's just like, are you willing to, for a chance at this bigger prize? Are you willing to continue on and potentially take a safer option and potentially like a more comfortable option and take the guarantee, or are you willing to risk it for this chance to win this like gigantic prize? Like, I feel like That's a little bit more about like and I guess you know betrayal is a part of it also. But it's not necessarily like at every turn. A lot of it is like I feel like, oh, I can't believe I didn't take the offer because now I'm out.
Yeah, Beast Games in many ways is about gambling.
Yeah.
Like poker style gambling, where it's like there is some skill involved, there's some lying, some trickery, some betrayal potentially, but there's also a lot of luck, and it's like, ah, damn, I should have stayed in that hand because then a good card came up on the river, like, or you know, or whatever. Like, I think that there's more connective tissue there, perhaps, than just like, because it's not just what would you do. You are not in control most of the time in Beast Games.
Yeah. And if anything, I feel like that Survivor in its inception was a little bit more about what are you willing to do for money in terms of like, are you willing to endure the island and go through all these challenges and also eat bugs and live with
Mm.
rats and all these types of things. Although I think that Jeff would very much push back on the idea that Survivor now is about what are you willing to do for money.
I agree. Yeah, I think that Survivor has shifted its focus, but it's so funny because I mean it was probably because knowing that we were going to be going to Survivor, but like in that first part of the episode when the guy takes the $1 million and they're so mad at him, it really did bring me back to Borneo. Like, you know, this is so fresh and new for people, but like that used to be how people felt about Richard Hatch and about
Mhm.
alliances and coordinating votes in Survivor. And now it's so unbelievably commonplace that, like, you know, the idea of being mad at somebody for being in an alliance is absurd.
Mhm.
And so it was interesting to think about that in connection to this show, which is 25 years later, doing similar things and people getting mad all over again.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know like what the response is to the non-Survivor watching fans who enjoy Beast Games and enjoy Mr. Beast. If did this mean anything to them?
I don't think so. And that's the thing too. Like the JC in season 1 moment was big. Like it did make people mad at JC because of the way that it happened and the way that he tried to justify it. It really did make you feel mad at him. But this one, I don't remember the guy's name. The guy that took the $1 million in this episode,
I think it's
they are also
JT.
mad at him. But I don't think the audience cares at all about this
Hmm.
guy. I don't
Yeah.
think they care. I think that, like, I looked into the thread of discussion about this episode today, and there was not a single mention of
Where
that
do you
guy
see that? Where do you go? The
on
Mr.
Reddit.
Beast Reddit? Yeah.
Yeah. And not a mention of that guy. It was all about Ethan.
Hmm. Okay.
uh, yeah.
So, Taryn, can you remind me about the JC storyline? Because I know that's going to be a big deal in this episode. And I know he
Yes.
took a lot of money in season 1, but I didn't really remember the story behind that.
So they got down, I think it was the final 10, and they were given a pool of money. It was like $1 million.
Hmm.
And they were told, this money is for you to do whatever you want with, essentially. Like I'm giving you this money to the top 10. And they all kind of collectively, or sorry, they didn't collectively agree, but like it happened in order. So the first person would go to the money, take as much as they wanted, and then leave it to the next person. And so they had all kind of had it in mind that they would split this equally, but they weren't able to fully coordinate that. And so the first person took like the correct amount, I think, and then the second person took probably the correct amount. I don't remember the exact order, but then
Yeah.
the third person took like a little bit extra. And
Hmm.
then JC sees that it's not totally even yet, even at this point. And he goes, you know what? I've got debts worth like $600,000.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take what I need. And it was particularly bad because like he had been talking up how like there's this other woman in the final 10 that he was like really good friends with, and he wanted to make sure that she got money, and she was up after him and got like nothing because he took most of it, or something along those lines. And then afterward, they were also mad at him for ruining it. And then the rest of them got like 10K each. And he was like, but
Hmm.
I gave you like 10K each afterward.
Hmm.
And then on top of all of that, they're mad at him and he's trying to justify the choice. He then also like blows up his alliance and was like, well, I was working with Jeff and this person and this person. We were going to take you all out anyway. And so it was just like, he just took it from all angles.
Jeff
And
still wasn't over it, I don't think.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But the big thing that Jeff points out is that like he couldn't just be like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I did what I had to do.
Yeah.
Like he just kept trying to he just kept trying to justify it in a way that just makes you angry.
Yeah. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, it will come up at the final tribal council. But yeah, thank you for the backstory. So we did the 5x5 relay race here, and there were some interesting moments here with this. Sue Smay is going to then be one of the captains. It's like a little bit of like there's like 4 people that are trying to go and be the captains. It ends up being Sue and our ultimate winner, Ian, who are the 2 captains.
Yes, I do. I do think that Sue. You would expect her Survivor experience to give her a leg up here, but I do think she picked a worse team, and I also think that she picked herself in the wrong spot here. I don't think that the throwing was the right spot for Sue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She picked Jeff. That was her number 1 pick. That was pretty good.
Jeff. I mean, listen, Jeff is always a solid performer, so good idea to pick Jeff.
Yeah, but it was kind of a leg up for the Ian team in that as captains, also it was like such a mismatch as the captains where that Sue was one of like, with all due respect to Sue, one of the weaker, competitors. I think Sue has probably won more individual immunities than I have on Survivor, but like just like off the bat, there's only a 5
compared to
team.
Ian, an American Ninja Warrior,
Ian, like a 3-time American Ninja Warrior contested, right? Like it was already disadvantaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I think that like you have to come out of the gates like looking to cover your weaknesses. Like you need to pick some strong people right out of the gate, and then get your puzzle maker later.
Yeah, I didn't like that when they were doing the challenge. Jeff was still using, "Now that's how you do it on Survivor." Like we're not on Survivor.
Yeah.
Like now that's how you do it on Beast Games.
Well, I guess he was like that. You know, that's how you do it here. They also called it Survivor, and I believe Jeff called it My Island, My Jungle.
I like that. I wish Jeff would call it My Island more on actual Survivor.
Yeah, like TJ on the challenge.
Yeah, I like that. Why does Troy get to call it My Island?
It made me think about, because the other thing that was interesting was that I felt like they gave us more like establishing shots than I'm used to seeing on Survivor. I was like, oh, look at the whole island. Look at the jungle. Like I was looking at things from a new perspective, which was interesting. And it also made me think about like, yeah, they just basically own that island, right? Like this is Survivor Island in a way that, again, is sort of like a little bit breaking the fourth wall, and that Survivor wouldn't often do. So I found that fun too.
Yeah. So I liked that they had to open the combination, and the one team got through it pretty fast. Was the yellow team got through it fast, and then the pink team was trying to cheat off of what the other team's combination was, but they misread it.
Yeah,
that was a good moment.
Yeah, I mean, JC messed up initially, which was very funny because MrBeast was like, I think you're doing this wrong. I think you shouldn't stack them up in piles like that. And he kept getting it wrong. And that should have let the other team make up time. But then instead of letting the woman just like do her thing, they were like, oh no, we know the combination. And yeah, they were looking at the wrong side of it. And it took them seemingly a while to figure that out.
Yeah. So that was a good moment when they were trying to like call out the numbers, and then everybody else was yelling out numbers. Like I feel like that, like I'd love to see that on Survivor.
I agree. Jeff was like, wow, this is the most lively I've ever seen a Survivor challenge.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's like the people that come in from Beast Games were sort of like, hey, in Beast Games, anything goes. And I wonder in Survivor if there's like a little bit more like decorum.
Yeah. You know, Survivor, your life in the game is so tied to your social standing that like doing something like that probably feels like, no, I shouldn't. But like Beast Games, obviously social game matters, but not as much. And so I think they're a little bit more free to like actually play hard in some of these challenges and games.
Yeah. Okay. So ultimately, we're going to see that the pink team ends up getting eliminated. Sue Smay will not win the private island.
Tough.
So, I kind of thought that would be fun, but it's not even in from, I talked to Ian. The island isn't even in Fiji. The island is in Panama.
Has he ever been to the island? Will he ever actually go to the island?
Yes, he did actually visit the island.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you could hear about that from Ian
I
himself.
feel like you have to go once just to like be there and be like, this is my island.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can leave and sell.
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
There you go.
So they cut back to Beast City at one point.
Yeah.
This took me out of it. I thought I was like watching like a commercial for next week.
Well, it was a commercial at one point, wasn't it?
I was like, it was in a commercial. I didn't know that the show had come back. I was like, what are we watching here? But they're showing like, here's what's happening at Beast City.
Yeah, and they showed like the showmance is still going. The guy's still getting dirty looks about taking the million.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate it. And I actually liked parts of it later, especially like when they're watching the challenge and when they're talking about who they think is going to get voted to win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one felt like the most unnecessary one.
Okay. All right. So we got another iconic Survivor challenge. We got Get a Grip back out here. Now, we end up having, it's 5 guys in the Get a Grip. Ultimately, what was it, only 2 women that went to Beast Island?
I think so. Or it might have been 3, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it would have been interesting to see if we would have had a woman in this challenge. Also, I feel like that a lot of women have historically done well in Get a Grip. Now, I think that there was a point where, I'm not sure which one of the New Era seasons it was. Maybe it was 48, where they did a version of Get a Grip where it was like a much like skinnier pole that they were on. I feel like they went back to the typical Survivor regulation size poles for Get a Grip.
Seems like it, yeah. And it played out the way that you would mostly expect, the 2 big guys going down quickly. I did notice initially they were grabbing the very top, and I was like, that's not in the rules. And then it would cut to like the actual start, and I know they were all hugging it. All of a sudden, I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the way that this was going to work was that we're going to get it down to 2, and the top 2 people were going to go to the final tribal council. And then also the people back in Beast City, they were getting to watch this challenge, much like we saw Mama Fee watching the pressure cooker.
Yeah, and I like this. And it also made me think that I was like, man, these people get live feeds of Survivor? Like, I'm jealous. I want to watch an uncut version of this endurance competition.
Yeah, it's like, hold on a second. Wait, so they have the technology to have live feeds from Fiji and play them in wherever the hell Beast City is?
I mean, I do wonder if it was actually live, but, they talked about, their whole ad was like how they've got 5G in Survivor Island, right? So
if they have 5G at Survivor, I don't even have, especially today, don't have 5G at my house.
Well, your house isn't Survivor Island.
Yeah. So they also, they gave also T-Mobile gave $5,000 to the 5 people that were still in the challenge, and then also the 10 people that were in Beast City. Just only Sue and the 5 people who got out of the challenge already. They did not.
Oh, I thought they also got the $5,000.
I thought it was only the 5 people that were in the challenge.
I thought it was everyone, but I don't know. Maybe you're right. That would have been.
Don't quote me on that. Okay. All right. So we do the thing. Nick's out right off the bat.
Yeah, Nick, the guy who seemingly was trying to press the button for the $1 million, and then it was like, I never even
big
thought
strong
about
guy.
it.
Yeah. And then Tyler is out. Poor Tyler.
World's strongest
man. We get down to 3. JC, Ian, and Ethan. And this is where Ethan, who's like pretty locked in here, gets tempted first by a cheeseburger.
Yeah. I will say the fries looked okay. When Jeff took one, I was like, those fries are probably pretty good.
Yeah. Now, I don't even think they do tempt you with a burger and fries anymore on Survivor. I'm trying to think. We have to go back to like the last season where they did try to tempt somebody with like, come down and eat a burger.
Yeah, he'd come out with like a bag of rice at most, like or maybe he'd come out with like a little
Well, no, they
sandwich.
changed it where they don't even do this. They made it so this challenge only lasts like 10 minutes. So
True.
nobody gets like tempted with anything. So, and then, okay, so then we see this Carl come out with a wheelbarrow filled with $50,000.
Yes.
And Ethan, don't you think you should take that $50,000?
I thought, okay, at this point, I was like, as soon as they announced it was going to be a jury, I was like, okay, JC has to know he can't win, right?
Yeah.
I was like, JC's going to auto take whatever money comes out
Seemed
because
pretty clear to me.
That's the best choice. And he is instantly trying to get Ethan, of all people, to drop. I was like, what? The guy that's the most solid? What are you talking about? But then seemingly when Ian joins in, and especially when Ian starts saying, hey, we both have families, it seems like they got into Ethan's head in that moment. And he was like, damn, I don't think I'll be able to beat them with families. And he drops.
Right. And I did ask Ian of that, do you think that Ethan would have beaten JC? He's like, yeah, definitely. So this was a big decision because Ian is slipping here. And
the guy had a $1.8 million locked up and he threw it away. Oof.
Taran, he had only a difference of $1.795,000. Is that right? No, it's one.
No, yeah, 1.795. I think is right.
Is the 5,000 or is it?
It's
is
the
right?
50.
Yeah, 795. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this was shades of like Survivor Palau, where ironically it was an Ian who was doing sort of like the emotional manipulation. We use it lovingly of Ethan, where it was Ian in Survivor Palau who kind of got browbeat by Tom. Like, oh, everybody's going to be mad at you. That's the only way to make it up to Katie.
Who knew we'd get the resolution to that storyline on Beast Games?
This did not last 14 hours, though.
No, it did not.
It did not.
But I think it, again, goes to show that, like, there's a reason why the Temptations are so good. And this was, it was quick, but this is, like, the moment that people are talking about from this episode because it's really interesting that that they were able to get Ethan to come down, and this poor kid is now going to regret that for the rest of his life.
But it's interesting because I feel like that this is more of a Big Brother thing where, hey, it's the endurance comp. Hey, if you step down, I'll keep you safe. It does not often happen in Survivor. I think there's been only very few times in Survivor history where a player has like sort of talked another person down into like leaving the immunity challenge.
That's true. There's a lot less incentive to do it on Survivor because it's individual immunity. It's like, there's no point. Whereas like with Big Brother, you can promise people safety. There's a reason why you might not want to be a head of household. There's a lot of room to play with Big Brother. And the incentives on Survivor, even when they used to offer them, if it is a burger, it's like, well,
yeah, I mean, if it ever happened on Survivor, it was typically like a food challenge where my friend Natalie Anderson, I think back to her and Reed in Survivor San Juan del Sur, where, okay, she's like, okay, I want to step down, but I want to like, okay, Jeff, I want, I forget what she wanted, like candy and wings and a beer and, so she's like, then she's like, all right, fine, I'll step down for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still good though. I like the Temptations, and I thought this was good TV.
Yeah, it worked out well. And we go to a final tribal council. I was not expecting a tribal council in this.
I was not either. I was surprised when Jeff brought out hey, you're on the jury. I was like, oh, okay, that's clever. I see this.
All right, final tribal council, JC versus Ian. And okay, so here's another thing. What a love letter to Beast Games of like they're coming in and like fixing so many things on Survivor. I loved it. That it's like, all right, the jury is there. And in Survivor, it's like we go there and it's like the contestants are sitting there. It's like, all right, let's bring out the jury. And then the jury walks in. The jury is sitting there. It's like, all right, first let's bring out Ian. And it's like you walk into the final tribal council. Like, I like that. Like, let's do that.
Too, yeah.
The final three is always just sitting there at the start of final tribal council. Like, let's bring them out one by one.
And I gotta say, this this was this was a better final tribal than I think.
It really was. Like, not to say
One of
anything
the
that the
reasons
like the Survivor 49 Final Tribal Council was good. Like, I don't want to take anything away from it, but I have to say, like, this had like a little bit of juice.
It did. It did. And you know what else too? It shouldn't have been. Because everyone and their moms knew that JC wasn't getting this vote.
Mm-hmm.
But I think here's a strength of the Beast Games format. I don't know enough about these people. It was very easy to trick me into thinking that JC actually had a chance when they were like, all the people on Beast in Beast City were like, oh, JC's going to take this. He's got the girls. He's got Jeff. I was like, he's got Jeff? Okay, I guess maybe they've made up in the years since Beast Games season 1. Maybe they're aligned now. I don't know, because I don't know enough about them. We don't know the
Beast Games edgic.
Yeah, and so you know, it did become pretty clear, like very quickly when they were playing the tinkly music under Ian and like the dun 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 under JC. But still, there was a moment there I was like, okay, maybe JC actually has a chance.
There's another great moment where MrBeast gets dunked on by Jeff, where MrBeast is like, all right, let's bring out, like, and Jeff says, like, hey, you know, when you're in control, you don't have to yell.
I love that. That was good. That was a good power play from Jeff.
Yeah. Spicy Jeff. This is what we like this.
It was like, hey, little bro, I know you're the new hot thing right now, but I got you covered. I've got 25 years doing this. Yeah,
I kind of feel like that Jeff needs a foil sometimes. And I feel like in the new era contestants, I think that Jeff doesn't really want to dunk on them. And so like having MrBeast there on his Survivor Island, like it gave Jeff like a couple of moments to be able to have like some lighter moments. So maybe that'll happen in Survivor 50. I know everybody's complaining about the people that are going to show up, but like what if like MrBeast shows up and then Jeff is like dunking on him?
This is the most likable Jeff has been in years on Beast Games.
Beast Games, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just seems like maybe because he's like a little more loosey-goosey here.
I think so. I think, you know, he's not as all-powerful, and you see him as a little more human. And he's also, like, not trying to force a narrative as much, which helps a lot as well.
Yeah, he's just kind of like reacting to what's happening in Beast Games and not trying to, you see, this is why, this is like so powerful of what we're doing here on Survivor. So I like Jeff in this.
I did too.
I like Jeff all the time, by the way, but I especially liked him in this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Ian had 9 siblings. They all watched Survivor.
Yeah. I thought he had a pretty good speech here. I thought he hit some things pretty well. This is a dream. He talked like we always talk about like Final Tribal or Final 2 and Big Brother. Be passionate, be vulnerable. I loved how he talked about like, you know, my mom told me that, you know, it's okay to show emotions. It's a good little thing to throw in there. He kind of hit on, you know, his allies, and also, as Jeff noted, made an offer that this is not the end of these games. If I win this, then I've won, and I'm happy to help the rest of you bring it home.
Yeah, I did think that Jeff did key into something that was a little interesting. And maybe that's why this did have a little bit of juice, where in the Final Tribal Council, it's like, okay, who's going to win? It's the end of the show. That's it. But this is also like, okay, well, now we're going to go back to Beast Games. So it's also like, here's why you should vote for me to have this thing, but also who is going to like how, what are you going to get out of this? Like, what's your, like, the best deal that the jury can make to move forward with the back half of Beast Games?
Which I kind of love. Like, again, maybe it's just that it's different, and because of that, it's fresh. But like, it adds an entirely new element to the voting, which makes it more of a negotiation. It makes it feel more live. That like you could actually talk these people into voting for you when they came in not planning to, not because you deserve it, but because you were better at negotiating, and that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. JC says he is fully willing to leave the game if they give him the $1.8 million.
Yes. And I got to say, I thought I was listening to JC, and I feel like I had the same reaction as Jeff, the Beast Games Jeff. Because he was like, you know, like, oh, you know, I regret what I did now. And, you know, I need this money to set myself up and my family up for the future.
Now you regret it.
Exactly. I was like, weren't
JC.
you the guy who just when that other guy took the million was like giving him the heart, like, no, no, I'm with you. It's us. We're the rebels. Now all of a sudden you regret it. You think it was a bad choice.
Hmm.
Like, okay, sir.
Hmm. Yeah. And Ian is talking about how he worked at this corporate job and they abused him. Oh my
Yeah, that was
God, that's
strange to me.
horrible. That was
I
horrible.
couldn't tell if he meant it literally or
I
like
don't know. I don't know.
more
I mean, it
like,
sounds like it was a raw deal for Ian for sure.
yeah.
And um, Ian says that he would be willing to. He told me that this was Sue's question to him. Would he be willing to eliminate himself? He said he would, but he said that he would be more able to help their games if he stayed in the game. What do you think of this?
Well, it's true. And the thing too is that like if somebody said, "Yeah, I'll step away immediately," I'd be a little skeptical of that. I mean, I'd be more likely
Hmm.
to believe that they'd actually do it than because the thing is, you can offer to help them out, and and he could mean it right now. But after a few days, they get back to Beast City. They're playing a game. He's in competitive mode. He could change his mind.
Yeah.
Very likely would. But he's certainly lost a lot of ground. Like if they stick him in a box and say one of you has to self-eliminate, it's going to be like, well, Ian, and he's going to have a
Hmm.
really hard time saying no to that.
Yeah.
But he's right. Like him self-eliminating right now is less useful to you than him sticking around and being able to do that for you in the future.
Who was the woman back in Beast City they brought up? Like, are you still gonna be close with? Was
I don't
that for
remember
Ian
her
or for
name, but
JC?
yeah, it
Brooke.
was like some ally of his. It was a
Hmm.
strange name, like a unique name.
Yeah. I think he
In
said,
my
"No, I'm
memory.
closer to you people more than I am to her."
Well, I think what he said was like, she's not the one giving me $1.8 million. Dollars. And so,
Hmm.
full transparency, I'm going to tell her that I'm going to have to prioritize you guys now over her.
Yeah. Okay. So we get to the votes, and it is Ian. He wins it in a runaway, swept the jury. Perfect game.
Yeah. And Rob, I felt like I was surprised at the level of depth that this tribal council was able to display as a Beast Games episode when it's like again, when they were like, hey, Jeff's going to obviously vote for JC. I don't know what their relationship
Hmm.
is. JC makes this plea, and then Jeff stands up and he drops that bomb, and they keep flashing back to JC when he took the money and the things that he was saying. And it actually felt like there's so much history here. And what are the odds that JC finds himself in this position with Jeff of all people, one of the people
Hmm.
deciding his fate? Like it was just like you can't write this stuff.
Such
And for
great
me,
world
somebody
building
who enjoys
in
Big
Beast
Brother
games.
because of the live feed aspect, because it's not as curated. I like that this is something that just happened to spawn out of the choices and the outcomes that happened here. It made it feel a little more raw and interesting in how narratively it did play out.
It's what happens when you have returning players, that you have these multiple season arcs now
Yeah.
across
It
Beast
was good.
games.
I,
Yeah.
I, I was watching that moment. I was like, damn, this is actually good TV.
Okay. So then they bring out the deed and they sign it over to Ian. Congratulations to Ian. But then there's a little bit of a twist here, and I want
Yes.
to get your take on this. That did you like this? That okay, now JC, here's the consolation prize to you. We're going to give you the Beast coin, and in the Beast coin, you will, if you make it to the final six, we will potentially double the prize pot. This is a huge gift to JC.
It really is. And it honestly, it couldn't go to a better person at this point
Yeah.
because he's such a weasel, this guy. The way that he was like, hey, I regret my decision. Give me the 1.8. And then as soon as he didn't get it, he was like, perfect leverage. He was like, what a character this guy is. He's
Hmm.
so good for this show.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great quote of like, what does this mean to you? Leverage.
Yeah, and yes, a huge gift because and they didn't make it clear, but it sounds like what he's saying is that JC will not have to risk his own life to flip the coin like the guy did last time. That
Hmm.
this is a free coin flip. You just have to get there to do it, which means that like in any, like, basically it's the complete opposite of what he was proposing if they had given him the 1.8, which is I'll drop out for anything. Now he has the ultimate leverage to never have to sacrifice, and for anybody in his group to have to sacrifice for him, which now also means I'm never getting in a group with this guy.
Yeah.
If I can help it.
All right. Taran, we've watched 4 episodes of Beast Games. I think that maybe I was a little bit on the fence of like, do we want to keep going with Beast Games season 2 after they do the Survivor stuff? But I don't know. I'm much more invested after this one.
I feel pretty. I mean, I'm certainly going to watch it. We'll see if they're able to maintain this level. I thought this was maybe the best episode of Beast Games so far.
Of all, like season 1
of
included?
all Beast Games, it's possible.
I really liked in season 1 when they locked everybody away into like the groups of 3 and everybody had to make the decisions to eliminate one person. I thought that was a lot of drama there, but far and away the best Beast Games episode of season 2.
Sure, certainly, yeah.
And maybe the best Survivor episode in a while.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I can't disagree.
Yeah. And good on Survivor for trying this. I think the jury is obviously still going to be out on what they do with Survivor 50, with the you know, bringing in MrBeast and Jimmy Fallon and the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol and whatever else that they're doing. But I kind of feel like that these types of swings to like do the thing with the influencers and then to do stuff like this, like I feel like that this is like easy like things that Survivor could be doing to help grow the audience.
Yeah, and there really was like a meaningful moment to me early on when Jimmy talks to Jeff and Jimmy's saying like, "Hey, Survivor was a big influence on me growing up and like on what eventually became this." When I wrote my book, I talked very briefly about MrBeast at the end of the book. This is before he even did Beast Games, just the videos he was doing and how Big Brother very clearly had a huge influence on this new era of reality television, which is on YouTube sometimes. He's now, you know, broaching legacy media and now also interacting with legacy media in an interesting way. And to have those two like meet and interact really was a little bit of like a passing of the baton in some way. And, you know, maybe you don't want to hear that, but like this is in many ways the new era of this content, an evolution, a fork of what Survivor helped create. And I think that's really fascinating. And it's also really interesting that like this is basically a YouTube collab, right? Like this is what big creators will do is they'll get together, they'll make one video for one channel, one video for another channel. And it's a great way to cross promote. And it's really interesting to see legacy media do that, like really adapt to this style of content creation. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was a lot of fun and looking forward to seeing how the rest of this is going to play out as we get back to Beast City to see how it all works out when we find out that Ian has won the island. Or did they get live feeds of the final Trapper Council?
They did not, no.
Okay. They weren't going to find out until they got back. Okay. So there you go. I got the chance to speak with Ian. If you're listening to the podcast version, you will hear that interview next. Otherwise, we will post it on YouTube separately. Taran, anything else about Beast Games this week?
I think that's it. I had a good time.
Okay. You mentioned that book, Taran. Where can people get their hands on it?
TaranArmstrong.com or probably most bookstores you can find it in.
Do they carry it in the library in Beast City?
I should hope so, Rob. It would be very useful.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe not.
Listen, I don't know what they had in the library, or this is the Starbucks still going with just like only 10 people still in the town?
They have to 24/7, Rob.
24/7. Okay. All right. Well, looking forward to hearing what you had to say about everything in the comments as we are now 4 episodes into Beast Games Season 2. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.